Yeah, we recently started this whole Free Madeira project. That, for those who don't know, it's a non-profit initiative with the aim to, let's say, promote adoption of the technology here in the island, most of all. But Bitcoin touches everything, so the plans are quite large in scope, and they go from education, as I was saying, and awareness and workshops on the technology, for the people that are still not familiar with it, to other kinds of plans, like we're establishing a Bitcoin business hub to incorporate Bitcoin related companies here in the island. We are doing the meetups and the podcast. We are working on the energy side of it. That's really important to me. So we are integrating mining on the well, we're still doing the study, but the aim is to integrate mining in the power grid of Madeira to help with the increase of the internal production of energy, to reduce imports of fuel that we still rely on. There's other projects like waste managing and biogas generation as well that have mining as a way to have a buyer of last resort and make it profitable, to help with the waste management, the methane reduction, and as a byproduct we get fertilizer locally produced as well. We are working with educating the diaspora. So Madeira has a big diaspora outside of the island, and we want to educate them and teach them how they can use the network to do their remittances to the families on the outside, and vice versa. We are working on law as well, and lobby, so adapting regional laws to make it more friendly for this kind of technology in the island, while also trying to lobby the interested parties and the government and the national government on what's the way we think the Portuguese government should support these ventures. What more? So it's a lot of stuff. I'm just trying to summarize all the things we're going to work in.
I got it. So, and Andre, when you say like adopt the technology and things like that, you're speaking about Bitcoin, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And only Bitcoin.
Only Bitcoin, yeah. So, and you said we a couple of times. Who's behind Free Madeira?
So I'm the founder of Free Madeira, but it's a large team, mostly of voluntary people that are willing to help us in this project. We have actually a very large advisory board made up of some good friends and really important people in the space. You can check them all out at freemadeira.com if you're interested. But there's a lot of people that you may know, like Jeff Booth and Troy Cross and Greg Foss and Larry Leopard and Samson Mao and Gigi, and a lot of the guys that are helping us within their network and skills. We are very fortunate to have them. They are an amazing group of people. So that's why it's of course a project that is way above me.
Yeah, because I remember from our last talk, you also spoke about the president of Madeira being involved too, right? So
the president supports the initiative, but is not involved in the day-to-day operations. It's just, from the government perspective, it supports the initiative. He welcomes it, and that's why we kind of negotiated between us the way to go forward with this. But it was always to be done outside of the scope of the government. We don't want it to be imposed, and not at all. We just want to work on the field and educate and welcome people and the technology and all of those things that I mentioned outside of the scope of the government. We want it to be adopted by the people and not imposed. by anyone. Also, it's part of the overall strategy of the government, because, you know, we are, for those who don't know Madeira, we are a small island in the middle of the Atlantic. We are actually closer to the coast of Africa than Europe, and we are considered an outermost region of Europe and a semi-autonomous region of Portugal. We have our own president and our own parliament. But we are limited within our powers. We still belong to Portugal, and we have to comply with a lot of the things that the mainland government decides upon. We have some independence in some areas, and others not. So it's a big document that, you know, makes the rules within the local government and the mainland government and so on. And this president, Miguel Albuquerque, the current president of the island, has seen, and in my view, in a very good foresight, that now finally Madeira has a competitive advantage in this new digital and connected world. Because in the past it was hard to compete, of course. Industry was non-existent, basically. We are since ever an economy very reliant on tourism. So it's not, you know, it's low wages and very dependent on one part of the economy only. That during COVID we saw what can happen to a fragile economy that is dependent on one factor only, basically. And but again, so he saw that finally Madeira has a competitive advantage in the world, because now, unfortunately, we are very infrastructure in Madeira is very good, both physical and digital. Quality of life in Madeira is amazing. We are a very safe place, surrounded by nature. We have everything we need: water, food, you know. It's good to live here. We are very fortunate for that. The weather here is amazing. So we already have all those qualities in place. And you know, in this interconnected world of today, there are a lot of businesses and people that can decide to work from wherever they want. And this was finally an advantage that the government is trying to support, to bring back people, bring back businesses to the island, bring back new generations, and give them the conditions that we couldn't give them in the past. And as part of that, this is just another technology that the president sees that it has a big future ahead of us, and he wants to support it.